I swear to God, if you hit me one more time, I'm going to spill candy all over this room.
Yeah,
Keep that bat away from me, Jesse.
You're the one who gave me this bat,
I know.
Derek.
It was a terrible idea. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us on a special Halloween episode of the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as everybody's favorite guy to hit on at a party. I am joined, of course, by my vice mayor and Batman today. It is the one and only Thunderstick, Jesse Friedman.
Alive and in person, Derek. Imagine
I can't believe I get to
us doing
see your
this.
face this early in the morning. This is great. What a Halloween treat this actually is.
There you go.
How are you doing? What are you doing here in Phoenix?
Yeah, so truth be told, I'm here for a nerdy math education conference. But more than that, I really just came so I could hit you with this baseball bat.
You had some payback on
There's
your mind.
a lot of candy. Derek has all sorts of candy all over him right now.
Candy,
so I can attest to that.
This show is brought to you, of course, by the Draftkings Sportsbook app. Go download the Draftkings Sportsbook app now. Use our code of PHNX, and simply for betting $5 on any NFL team to win, you will get $200 in free bets instantly as long as that team wins their game. All right, Jesse. We actually have hitting-related news.
Yeah,
Big
we
news.
do. We do.
D-backs, believe it or not, some breaking news, have hired not two, but one hitting coach.
They did.
They have got their guy in Joe Mather, the Reds hitting coach and director of hitting for the past 2 seasons, but a guy that's had a history with the D-backs.
Yeah. He was a minor league coach from the Diamondbacks organization for about 5 years, which I think was a big reason why the Diamondbacks were interested in bringing him on. Torey Lovello said in the press conference, they're not going to need to brief this guy on all of the Diamondbacks players. He knows a lot of them already. He's also 39 years old. He's a pretty young guy as far as hitting coaches go. Darnell Coles was 59. So he's a younger guy. I read there was a good piece up at The Athletic about Joe Mather, and Zach Buchanan got some quotes from some players over at the Cincinnati Reds. And Joey Votto spoke very highly of him. Tucker Barnhart spoke highly of him. Jesse Winker. And the Reds, Derek, are a pretty good offensive team.
Very good offensive
A couple years ago, not so much. But
Yeah.
Joe Mather has had a lot of success there.
Yeah.
And of course, you never really know like how much of this is the hitting coach and how much of this is just the Reds having a lot of good hitters.
No, that's very true.
That's
very true.
But I mean, last time the Diamondbacks a lot of times the Diamondbacks have brought on, pitching coaches, hitting coaches. You look at the numbers for the teams they're coming from and you're like,
right.
not exactly ideal, but this is one case where the numbers actually do bear out that Joe Mathers seems to be pretty good at his job.
Well, and not only that, but I mean, like you said, the history with the team, I think that kind of speaks volumes for it. I think the organization likes to go with guys that have been, loyal and a part of this franchise for a long time. He managed the Missoula Osprey to the Pioneer League championship in his first season as manager. I mean, again, it's minor league and you can say what you want about it, but that's getting the job done as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And then he was also the coach for AA Jackson in 2017 and the manager for Single A Advanced Visalia Rawhide in 2018. So again,
he's wearing a lot of hats. Like he's been a hitting coach and a minor league manager.
Right.
And I think another thing that sticks out for me is that he was their director of hitting officially in Cincinnati.
Yes.
And the Diamondbacks have talked about how they want their next hitting coach to be someone who really kind of moves across the minor leagues and the major leagues, right?
Yeah.
So that there's more continuity. That's one of the things that they had talked about in some of the closing press conferences is we feel that hitters are getting one message when they're in AA and then they get to the majors and then everything changes. And hopefully Joe Mather is a guy who has experience kind of working across those different levels. So I'm excited about this, Derek. I think this is a good move. And I know when was the last time the Diamondbacks hired a coach and we were like, oh, this guy sucks. Like he has a horror. That doesn't really happen. But Joe Mather seems to check all of the boxes that you would look for here.
And I think the biggest thing there is that mentorship, right? Because a lot of guys coming up are going to be young players, and you want a guy that has that connection to mentoring young players. Frank Sanders and I were hanging out at the. I just love to say that. Sorry, it's like a name drop. Frank Sanders and I were hanging out last night, and he was talking about football players and how a lot of times when they got to the NFL, they made them adapt like their catching style, and then guys wouldn't have that same success because somebody in the NFL believes you needed to catch a ball like this all the time instead of catching it at your side like you're used to. And we got into that with baseball. You know what I mean? Like just sometimes the way that people that are stuck in their ways at doing things at a major league level, instead of doing things perhaps individually for guys that work for them, and that's something that happens more in the minor leagues. But then when you get to the majors, like you said, it's this transition where all of a sudden your hitting coach tells you can't stand like that in the box, or you can't do this in the box.
Right.
Sometimes it helps substantially, right? Like Zach Gallen talked about when he was getting ready to come up to the major leagues, that he changed like the side of the hill that he pitched from, right? And like that made this huge difference in his delivery. So sometimes it's for the better, but sometimes, especially with like hitting and such, it might be, it might be too much of a change for them to still have the success they had at a younger age. Madison Bumgarner to me is a perfect example of that, just as far as, what we've talked about in the past and the way he's kind of alluded to analytics and other
too
things
much
coming
information
into
and everything.
his life that was too much information, right?
Right.
A guy like that, cowboy, he doesn't.
Mason Saunders is the cowboy, all right?
Okay,
Madison Bumgarner's done no such thing, Derek.
There's two sides of him. But I'm just saying, a guy like that, right? He just wants to go up there and throw the ball. Like we talked about Goldschmidt wanting to go up there and just, hit the ball hard. That sometimes that simple approach is what these guys know, and it's what if it works for them, right? So you start bogging them down with analytics and changes to their, mechanics because of the efficiency rate. If they went at a 20, this is like a 2% angle more to the left or whatever, that kind of thing, right? So, I mean, but I'm excited for this. I think one thing is it has always been weird to me that the D-backs over the last, couple of seasons, or at least season, needed to have two pitching coaches, right? Not even a different position. Like you said, Mather wore both the hitting coach and director of hitting in Cincinnati. It's not even like that, right? Where we had, this guy's the pitching coach and this guy's the director of hitting. No, we just had two pitching coaches. And then when we let them go, we just had two more interim hitting coaches. And I don't know, that might be more common that I am aware of, but it just seemed like a weird thing to have two hitting coaches, two pitching coaches, two anything like that. I feel like it all should be one particular coach.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they're still planning to hire a few more people. So, I mean, they're still sticking with their plan of they want a few voices in the room with some of these guys. And obviously Joe Mather can't be, he can't do it all. Like he can't be going from AA to AAA to the majors and coaching for everyone. So I think what they said is they're planning to hire 3 more coaches to work underneath him.
Okay.
And then Joe Mather will just sort of be at the top, kind of directing the whole operation. One thing I will say to your earlier point about, too much information and, guys having certain things that work for them. One thing that Joey Votto said about Joe Mather that really stuck out to me is he said that Joe Mather is just like this skeptic. Like Joey Votto literally said it this way. He said, if you tell Joe Mather that it's a nice day outside, Joe Mather is the guy who's like, I don't know, like what temperature is it? Like, are we sure? And
are you sure it's going to be like that all day?
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just like that right now, right? So that's something that really sticks out about Joe Mather is that he seems to have this reputation of, even if you have done it a certain way for a long time, he's gonna ask questions and like make sure that that's the the strategy that will serve you best. Which I think is a good thing. Like Joey Votto said that is a good thing. Like he wants his hitting coach to question everything and at the same time not be too overbearing, right?
Yeah, right.
And they also spoke highly of him, finding a middle ground there with, questioning everything, but not driving you crazy at the same time and demanding that you're always changing things.
Sure. And I brought up Astros, I think their pitching coach, Brent Strom before, right? But I mean, there was something about him when I saw him during an interview for the World Series that made me think like the D-backs need these coaches to be more of mentors, because this guy seemed just like, again, he's an older guy, right? But still, for being that, he seemed like somebody that was much more of a teacher than a coach, right? And I think that's definitely what the D-backs need. Somebody that's going to question your approach. Yeah, that might put that thought in your head, right? Like he's not going to tell you to change things, but if he asks you if something like, so has that really been working for you?
You better have a good answer.
I'm looking at your numbers. I'm seeing a decline in your batting average over the last 3 seasons. That's pretty good though. I mean, that's exciting, and I think the D-backs again, they need a change. They need a change at all of these positions.
There's more to come. They still need a pitching coach. They still need a bench coach. They're still interviewing people probably as we speak right now. So, yes.
Torey Lovullo takes so much of the blame for the lack of success for this team from people, right? But
yes.
I'll never forget when we talked to him about Zach Gallen not using the changeup as much. And it was a great example to me of how influential these other coaches are, because basically Torey Lovullo sounded like that's not my department to decide if Zach Gallen throws the changeup or not. We have a pitching coach that decides that, right? So
Zach Gallen should probably throw his changeup, just for the record.
He probably should throw the changeup as often as possible.
He probably should.
But that's what I mean, right? I mean, again, you can blame a lot of parts of the organization, but all of these things, they all come down to the individual coaches, their effect on the team, and their ability to get the most out of these guys, right? Obviously, that wasn't the case. Even when we didn't think anything was really wrong with the hitting, they still parted ways with Darnell Coles and Eric
He was the
Hinske.
first one. Yeah. I was kind of surprised because I think we've talked about this before, but when they let Darnell Coles go, their offense was the one thing that was actually sort of
terrible.
Okay.
It was like they were 14th or 15th, I think, in the league.
They were very middle of the road.
Go, right? So it was one of those situations where they were so bad at the time that you couldn't help but say, obviously, they're not going to fire Torey Lovullo. I think that's what we said, right? We said, like, at that point, Lovullo's not the one that's going to fall on the sword here. And it didn't seem even right for it to be Hinske and Coles, but it's what happened, right? And so, again, we've seen this team kind of have a lack of success offensively. And I did think that they I don't know the numbers particularly, but it seemed like they got worse after that point.
They did,
right?
for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, well, if they were middle of the road when it happened, they didn't finish middle of the road.
For sure.
Yeah.
But two teams that didn't finish middle of the road for sure is the Astros and the Braves.
That's for sure.
Series is all tied up.
Yeah.
Altuve hit yet another home run. Now,
did you know? So it's his 22nd, right?
22nd. He's now officially half of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Right. So there's that, which is depressing. Right. But on the positive side for Jose Altuve, that is tied with Bernie Williams for the most postseason home runs of all time.
Wow.
Jose Altuve.
That's incredible.
He's like shorter than you are, Derek. I mean, imagine that.
Hey. I know I'm dressed as a piñata today. I'm not, this isn't beat up Derek Day.
I'm metaphorically hitting you with the bat again, pretty much.
I appreciate it. But I guess I have to ask, do you think the Braves are in trouble? Does this mean anything? I mean, the Astros, again, have not won a Game 1 in the World Series when they've been in it. So them losing Game 1 is no surprise.
Yeah.
But now here they are. They come roaring back in Game 2. I mean, technically, the Braves still have home field advantage right now at this point, right? With winning Game 1.
Yeah, the Braves have 3 games in a row now in Atlanta, so
they could get the job done.
If anything, I think Houston is still the ones with their backs against the wall. But yeah, I mean, 2 games so far. Neither of them has been very close. We kind of knew from the get-go which team was at least far and away had the better chance to win. Jorge Soler opened Game 1 with a home run, and
incredible.
Which is super fun. I mean, what a way to start a World Series, right? And then the Astros got off to a quick start in Game 2. I think they had like 5 runs after a couple of innings. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we get some games that are a little more back and forth, a little more like what we saw in the championship series. Sure. But this has still been really fun. And I think a big factor here, as we talked about going into this series, neither of these teams really has like an elite starting rotation now.
Not anymore at all.
Yeah, not close. I mean, the Astros...
loss of Charlie Morton, I think that's just a big thing now, right?
Yeah.
Because he would pitch in Game 4, which could potentially be a huge game in this series, right? Without him pitching,
I still love that he pitched. Didn't he get several outs while he had
3 outs with a broken leg, including 2 strikeouts? I think.
Yeah. Why not just throw him back out there at this point, right?
Splint it up old style, World War II style. Just put 2 pieces of wood.
I mean, he's got the whole offseason to recover. So I mean, what are we worried about here, right, Derek?
I don't know him walking normal ever again. I suppose, but I mean, what's walking normal when you can be a legend for all time?
Oh man!
I liked his comments. He did attack Curt Schilling because they made they asked him about his broken leg being compared to the bloody sock. And he basically made this comment about mine was a real injury. Kurt was basically scuffed up and making it all about himself. And it was like, oh my God, I love you even more. Charlie Morton, you're down and you're still punching back at Curt Schilling.
There you go.
Not even in this equation. But
there's not really any blood with a broken bone. At least I hope not. Ugh.
Oh, if it's bad there.
Oh man. Yeah, let's not go there.
But are you still sticking with the Braves now? Do you think the Braves are still going to be?
Oh man. I mean, did I ever declare I was going with the Braves? I don't know if I want the Braves to win.
I mean, yeah, because you weren't here. You were gone.
I missed
I'm
a couple
sitting here
of
talking
days.
with Mac. And
did Mac pick the Braves?
I don't know, but she picked murder. That's for sure. You should have seen her. She knew everything about murder.
That was
incredible.
hilarious. That was hilarious.
But yeah, no, I think we both. I think I went with the Astros and she went with the Braves, and I feel like the Astros thing was just really the. The loss of Morton combined with, well, I don't even know if the game hadn't happened yet, but just the Astros experience. The Astros experience and being there before. They have so many guys that were on this team when they won the World Series before. So interestingly enough, those guys all went like 0-4 in the first game, but
right.
It's still, those are the guys that showed up in game 2 and made a big difference. Altuve being one of them.
Do you think, I go back and forth, Derek, on how much experience has to play when it comes to the postseason?
I don't know.
Is that like, I don't know. Like, I'd have to dig into some numbers to, really see what's out there on this. But I've never gotten the sense that players who have tons of postseason experience necessarily play way better, right?
Sure.
Like, there's a lot of guys who've just not been very good in the postseason in their careers, and there's some guys who've been very good. And I'm not sure if it has to do with how much experience they get. Obviously, it's a different environment. There's more fans in the stands. It's a bigger stage. So, some players might react to that more than others. But
Kershaw has plenty of playoff experience, and he still doesn't do great in the playoffs, right?
There you go.
There is something to be said, because sometimes we have those things where like guys become stars in the playoffs, in the World Series, right? So, and they've never been there before. They have no business being this good on this stage.
Sure.
And part of it just might be the lack of awareness about the situation, or even caring, right? Like you kind of have to care deep down in your heart about it being this big stage for it to like shake you, or to make you kind of have those jitters or anything like that about performing in something like that. Sometimes when you go out there and you just have the attitude of it being any other baseball game, that's probably the best approach. And sometimes if you haven't been there, you're not fantasizing about how you guys blew it last time you were there or whatever.
The Braves have had some defensive issues.
Yes.
Which I think a couple of them were Dansby Swanson. And he's obviously a younger player, hasn't really been on this stage a whole lot. So, maybe there's a case to be made there. But yeah, it's an interesting series, Derek. Neither of these teams really have the kind of starting pitching that you're expecting from, two teams in the World Series. Lance McCullers is already out for the Astros, and then of course Charlie Morton now with the Braves. So,
but the Braves have so many other losses, and so did the Astros. Like, it's a pile. When you start looking at how many guys that are all-star caliber players on both of these teams that are out, it's
like Packers Cardinals last night.
It
right?
really was, right? And so like it's kind of like even. I don't know. The rumor is that Greinke is going to start Game 4 for the Astros again, probably
really?
in
I hadn't
another
heard that. Okay.
Opener role. Oh, well, it's not determined yet for sure. I don't believe it's been announced.
No.
But it was something that was out there, and again, I wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Yeah, he's just not stretched out, so you're probably not going to get more than 4 innings maybe tops.
Sure, if you're going to get that out of a successful Greinke, but again, it's probably more of a bullpen game of sorts, with him starting. So it's exciting. It's exciting because at least neither of these teams have that big advantage of being closer to 100% than the other team, right?
Yeah, it's a very evenly matched series. Like, both teams are banged up. And, both of these are relatively small market teams. Like, I actually kind of love it. I don't love the Astros all the way because of, obviously, their past.
Somebody's got to be the bad guy.
Yeah, someone's got to be the bad guy.
You with the bat.
Good guy. Yeah, you're the good guy today. Right, of course. But yeah, pitching matchup for Game 3, we do know that. Luis Garcia against Ian Anderson. So Garcia for the Astros, Ian Anderson for the Braves. Garcia has an ERA over 9 in 3 outings in the playoffs. But his last start was really good against Boston. He went like 6 innings and had 7 strikeouts or something like that. So, and then Ian Anderson has a 2.25 ERA in the playoffs. So it'll be an interesting one. This is Game 3. Game 3 in this sort of a series is huge. So
what stat I saw that I brought up yesterday on Tuesday that I know you're going to hate. There was a stat from ESPN Stats and Info that said the Braves have the worst winning percentage in the in the playoffs for a team that has won Game 1 multiple times, because after losing Game 2, they're 2-4 in this playoffs after winning a Game 1 as far as their record, which doesn't even sound like it should make sense.
No.
2-4 with a 333 win percentage should be like out of the playoffs. But it's just a wacky stat that's
weird
that you would hate because it's such a small sample size.
Yes, I do.
But I knew you'd enjoy it. Just like I know you would enjoy listening to Petey do the Manscaped ad.
Oh,
Jesse,
Petey's kind of I don't know if I've seen Petey do the Manscaped ad, but I've heard many stories.
Let me say I have listened to Petey do the Manscaped ad, but I have never had the joy of being present when Petey did the Manscaped ad, and he puts my reading of it to shame. He went on for a significant amount of time about the field of dreams and shucking your corn and harvest season. It was fantastic. I'm not going to get that deep, Jesse, but what I am going to say while looking you dead in your eyes is your field needs to be ready for the playoffs.
Yes,
right?
Yes,
you get that home field advantage. You want your outfield and infield grass looking nice, and you can do so over at manscaped.com using our code of PHNX. You can get 20% off plus free shipping. And I'll tell you, it's absolutely a great deal. You can get the perfect package for your package during spooky season. I mean, spooky season's almost over, but again, like Petey said, it's almost harvest season. So you want to get ready for harvest season and plowing. So make sure you go over to manscaped.com and get yourself that package for 20% off with our code of PHNX plus free shipping. Also, do me a favor, go over to Draftkings Sportsbook. Download the Draftkings Sportsbook. For all new bettors, if you bet $5 on any NFL team to win, you will get $200 in free bets if that team wins. I tried to warn you guys to stay away from the Cardinals game, and I feel like for good reason. We're not going to talk about that here because I'll start crying. Jesse will get frustrated with me. I'll turn this into a Cardinals thing. I'll yell about AJ Green for 20 minutes, but you don't have to go through all that. You go over to DraftKings Sportsbook, download that app. You can get a same-game parlay, which is something I've been into. I'm Mr. Piñata today, but other times I'm Mr. Parlay. Combine multiple bets, and you will get a bigger payout. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem, dial 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And, of course, Jesse, we have more big D-backs news to talk about.
We do, yes.
Because somehow, some way, our left fielder, the Freight Train, second best nickname in D-backs history, by the way, has become a finalist for the Rawlings Gold Glove for left field.
Yeah, not the first time.
He's been here before. This is not new territory. He has won it before, absolutely. And I'm not going to sit here and say negative things about David Peralta.
You're not?
No, I'm not. But I am going to say that I strongly, like you, question, at least I questioned why David Peralta would be up for this award.
Yeah, no, I did too. Looking at the numbers, I'll be frank with our audience here and say there is a next to 0% chance that David Peralta actually wins this award. It's one thing to be a finalist. It's another thing to win it. I think Tyler O'Neill is probably the far and away favorite here.
Absolutely.
Over with the St. Louis Cardinals. Digging into some of the numbers, defensive runs saved. We've talked about this statistic on the show a few times. Tyler O'Neill has 12 defensive runs saved with his performance in left field, and David Peralta has 0. So he is essentially broken even according to that stat.
Yep.
Other statistics like him more, outs above average over from Baseball Savant has Peralta in the 80th percentile. And Tyler O'Neill is right there with him, also in the 80th percentile. So they're neck and neck in that stat. But there's another number that also favors Tyler O'Neill. So,
I'll give you one set of numbers because you love numbers and you love stats.
Numbers. I do.
I'm going to give you one that favors David Peralta and probably is the reason, and hopefully this will explain why he was nominated at least.
Please do, because I don't understand.
David Peralta led the league in range factor per 9 innings.
Okay.
And range factor,
Derek.
for those of you...
range factor.
Range factor per game, led the league per game and per 9 innings, which are two different range factors. And just to give you an idea of what that is that's assists plus putouts, right? So my thought on this is that the Diamondbacks were so bad this season that he had more opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean,
if it's per 9 or per game, then that wouldn't account for that.
Right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't account for that. It wouldn't account for starting pitching essentially being bad and him having more balls hit his way than other left fielders.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of weird for him to lead the league in that stat. I know what people question here when it comes to David Peralta, right? When they hear it, they, like Jacob says in our stats here, or in our chat, he takes the worst routes to the ball. Absolutely. And at times, I mean,
okay, I don't know about the worst routes.
No,
but
he really does at times. Like sometimes
he does. You're right.
Again, it's one of those things where from the vantage point of the press box, you kind of get a good idea sometimes. It's kind of why, like, you can see when the ball is going to go foul, left field much earlier than like fans sitting in the stands, just based on your, where you're sitting. I'm sure people above us and below us kind of have a similar, vantage point, right? But, I don't know. I think when I see him play outfield, sometimes I am just like, I've mumbled to myself, where are you going? So many times, just on his route to the ball, even when he catches it, right? Sometimes he even makes balls that he catches look more complicated and like a better catch than it should have, just because he should have taken a better route or something to it. But I'm not going to attack him for that. Okay. There's way more things that we can pick on.
I think in general, left field is just not a position where there are a whole lot of great defenders in baseball. Like, you don't put your best defender in left field. And so the pool that you have to choose from is just naturally not going to be that impressive. AJ Pollock is the other guy who's in there.
Yeah.
And his numbers, similar to Peralta, are just not really very impressive. So Tyler O'Neill is, I can just about guarantee you, going to win this award. He's had quite a season for the Cardinals in a number of ways. But yeah, I mean, David Peralta is, good enough to be a finalist, and for whatever that's worth, we'll take it, I guess, Derek. I don't know.
Is this a situation where it's just better to say, like, it's good at least someone was nominated, right?
Yeah. Going through the award season and not having anyone a finalist for anything is a little bit demoralizing.
The
really
Diamondbacks
did have another finalist, though.
Who was that?
The Silver Slugger.
Oh,
the pitcher for Silver Slugger. Did you hear about this?
No.
Madison Bumgarner.
No way.
Is a finalist.
Oh, yes.
And there's also there's some similar uproar about this, Derek, because Madison Bumgarner had 4 hits the whole season, and one of them was a double, and the other 3 were singles. And his batting average was 104. But the reason, you ready for this? The reason Madison Bumgarner is a finalist here, it is. I think it's legit. I know Vince Murata over at 98.7, he was tweeting about this the other day and was like, okay, this is probably the last year that there's going to be a Silver Slugger award for pitchers. Maybe they're just throwing Mad Bum in there because he's a legend over years. But I looked into it, and his numbers actually are near the top for pitchers. And the reason for that is not because he has 4 hits. It's because he has 9 walks.
Oh.
So he actually has an on-base percentage of almost 300, which is actually insane. Like, he only had 52 plate appearances, and he walked almost 20% of the time.
Okay.
So even though he, didn't really get that many base hits, he apparently opposing pitchers are just very scared to pitch to Madison Bumgarner.
No, you know what that says to me? Umpires, it says that Madison Bumgarner once again knows the strike zone better than you do. You better start listening to him when he yells at you from the mound that you're wrong.
I will advocate for a lot of Diamondbacks pitchers who bark at the umpire.
He's not one of them.
Bumgarner is not one of them. He
sometimes I don't even know if he's yelling at him or himself. You know what I mean?
If it's in the neighborhood of the strike zone, Madison Bumgarner wants the call, and I'm often a little bit skeptical.
Yeah, no, but I'm with you on that. All right, guys. Again, reminder, DraftKings Sportsbook app. Go download that. Use our code of PHNX for betting $5 on any NFL game.
I'm going to have to do that this weekend.
You got to do it. You're here. Get your geolocation stuff up.
Yeah, I'm a first-time bettor.
That's right.
You're going to have to tell me which NFL game to bet on.
I will. I'll give you some information.
I wasn't going to bet on the Cardinals. You were absolutely right. I was staying away from that.
Yeah, you got to watch the Bet Show. I might give you some information that the Bet Show might not give you, and it's courtesy of our pal Petey once again, because it was because his Manscaped ad was so good that now I'm just listening to him on everything.
Yeah, the people want to know what he has to say.
So, but go over to, again, $5 on any NFL team. Jesse's going to get it done. He's going to get his $200 in free bets. He probably, I hope
so.
you get to
win,
bet. You got to win.
This isn't that thing where any team scores a point.
I know. You got to have to win. Yeah, you got to try this one a little bit. So do that, and also go sign up for a membership at gophnx.com. Jesse and I both have some content. We'll be having a little bit more information about our new pitching coach, our new hitting coach. Hopefully we get some word on a new pitching coach soon. I keep confusing those two.
Should be soon.
But Joe Mather will have an article up on him. Jesse has an article coming up. So go sign up as a member. You will get access to our members only Discord, and you will also get sweet deals over at the phnxlocker.com. You will get your free t-shirt if you sign up for an annual membership, and if you sign up for a month-to-month membership, you'll get 50 cents for your first month. So again, it's a little trial, little dainty trial, and then after that, if you want to pay month to month, you're buying Jesse and I some Starbucks once a month. You can do that. Look
Maybe
at this
Derek
guy.
will share his candy with you.
I absolutely will not share my candy with you if you sign up. You have to find me and hit me with that bet to get candy out of me. That's the only way that works this Halloween season. But yeah, we appreciate you guys' support and love, and go be a PHNX member. There are incredible shirts. One is based on my tattoo loosely, and I can't get over that. I feel honored.
Shirts right
yeah,
here.
Look at this thing.
It is genuinely like the softest shirt in my closet, and that is not a joke.
We sound like we're selling it, but it's like I'm so happy because I'm such a shirt snob, really, when it comes down to it. And I'll tell you this much: I love the feel of these shirts. So go grab one of those shirts today and become a member, become a part of the family. And I'm going to give you, Jesse, I'm going to give you my DraftKings pick of the week.
All right, I'm taking notes.
But unfortunately for you, it's not going to be a football pick. So you're going to still have to find one on your own.
But I need a football pick,
Yeah,
Derek.
it's not going to be a baseball pick either. Again, like I said.
Do you know anything about, is it Suns?
It's
basketball?
It's not basketball either. I know nothing about anything, Jesse. Of course, look at me. Everybody knows that.
That's
But
fair. You look the part today,
this is what I'm going to tell you is our pal Petey over at the Coyotes show. He gave me this piece of information, and I think it's good for not only the pick of the week, it's the pick of the month. It might be the pick of the fall.
What?
And that is, go bet against the Coyotes.
Okay, I saw that coming.
I haven't lost
you
yet.
You still don't know anything about hockey, but
here's what I know.
That.
I know that the NHL sets the puck line at a goal and a half every single game. So unlike football, you don't have a moving line that you have to hit. It's always going to be a goal and a half if you get in there before the drop of the puck.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So here's a guarantee for you. The Coyotes are going to lose the majority of their games this season, and those losses are going to be by 2+ goals. So they have some injured defensemen right now. Now is the perfect time for us to feast, folks. I know it might not be a good time, but you know how I am a fan of tank season, and the Coyotes are totally on board with tank season. It's tank season all winter over at the Gila River Casino Arena.
Here in Arizona, we just like to have at least one team on board with tank season.
Yeah, that's what we need.
We don't want all the teams competitive. We need at least one
That's
team.
why we're having a meeting with the Suns, because the Suns obviously got some sort of weird memo that they think it's there. And we were like, no.
They weren't on the list.
No.
Yeah, we weren't trying.
Yeah, we weren't trying
to do that to the Suns.
We specifically did not invite you and the Cardinals to this meeting for a reason.
Right,
this meeting was between the D-backs, the Coyotes, and we asked ASU if they wanted to be involved a little bit. They didn't, but U of A was like, yes, please, we'll be in. So we had a good time just talking about tank season for all of our teams.
You're a big ambassador for tank season.
You know what? Here's the thing. If you're not going to win, you should lose spectacularly. And again, DraftKings pick of the week, go bet on the Coyotes to lose spectacularly. They're going to do it. I'm telling you, take your winnings from one game, bet it on the next game. By the time the season ends, you'll be a millionaire or something. I don't know. But go bet on the Coyotes to lose. And that's pretty much all we got. I know we're here in person.
Yeah, we have to go for like a few hours at least.
I know, right?
We're not here for that long.
We're probably going to shut the camera off and just continue talking right here. I can't get out of the seat in this costume. This is like I'm permanently affixed.
I can lighten your load a little bit.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to need to happen before we go. But of course, you can follow us on Twitter. I am at the Pinata on Twitter. No, I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. Jesse is at Jesse N Friedman. Our show is at PHNX D-backs. But of course, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you're listening to us right now on your favorite audio podcasting app, which none of you have shared with me, give us a 5-star review, subscribe, and then jump over to the YouTube channel and subscribe to us there. You can hit sign up for notifications and get all the shows. So like when we go live at 10 o'clock in the morning like this, you will get a notification about it.
You're really missing out if you don't watch this one on video, because Derek is his costume is truly
we shouldn't even post this one as an audio podcast. We should force you to come and see me in all my glory as a piñata on this show. But I'm going to tell you this. Here is my perfect thing is go scan this beautiful code that Jacob Franklin made for us. I mean, yeah, right? Like as far as QR codes, that's a looker. right?
It has our logo in it. I didn't know you could do that with QR
I
codes.
didn't either. Give me that as a sticker. I'll put it on my barbecue hut. Yeah, go hit the QR code up right there, and that will take you to everything. Also, I'm going to tell you this: if you're a sad sack about Halloween, like Jesse over here, not dressed in your costume.
Well, I didn't get the memo. Apparently,
look, remember, it's a fun time. Go dress up, be a part of it. We only live. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. So, and obviously, that's what I am. I am
you're the
a walking good time,
life
right?
Philosophy, Derek.
Hey, but I want to thank you guys again so much, Jesse. It's wonderful to see you in person.
Yes, you too, sir.
On behalf of Jesse, go have a happy Halloween weekend, and remember, kids, betting is. Excuse me. I can't wait to
this
bet
a million times.
I know, and I'm just nervous that you're here, and it's the first time I've ever screwed it up. Baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you bet on it. Hockey too. Bet against Coyotes.